Welcome to this lecture on machine learning in bioinformatics. Today, we are going to explore how computer science and biology come together to solve some of the most complex medical mysteries of our time. We will learn how artificial intelligence acts as a superpowered magnifying glass, helping us decode the hidden mathematical patterns within our DNA. To begin, let us understand why we even need computers in biology. Imagine you are a detective trying to solve a massive mystery, but instead of a few clues, you have billions of puzzle pieces scattered across a room. Modern sequencing technologies generate terabytes of data every single day. If you tried to sort through these DNA sequences and patient genes by hand, it would take thousands of lifetimes. Manual human analysis of this genomic ocean is completely impossible, which is exactly why we must turn to advanced computational tools to find the genetic markers that cause diseases. Following the realization that manual analysis is impossible, we arrive at our core subject. In the academic world, machine learning in bioinformatics is defined as the application of artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze, interpret, and predict outcomes from complex biological data. Think of it as a super-powered magnifying glass that can instantly scan millions of biological puzzle pieces to find hidden patterns. Instead of relying on human intuition, we use advanced mathematics to uncover the statistical realities hidden deep within our DNA. Now that we have defined the field, how does this approach differ from standard computing? Traditional computer programs require rigid, step-by-step instructions to perform a task, like searching for one specific genetic mutation. But biology is highly variable. In contrast, machine learning models are trained on large data sets, allowing them to identify underlying statistical relationships without being explicitly programmed for every scenario. By evaluating features like amino acid sequences, the system learns the rules all by itself, continuously improving its accuracy as it is exposed to more data over time. Understanding how these models learn brings us to their real-world impact. You might be wondering what we actually do with these trained algorithms. In the real world, this technology is used to predict how proteins will fold, which is crucial for understanding diseases. It helps researchers discover new life-saving drugs in a fraction of the usual time by simulating how molecules interact. Furthermore, it allows doctors to create personalized medicine tailored to a patient's unique DNA. Without machine learning, the vast majority of the biological data we collect today would sit completely useless and unanalyzed. With these powerful applications in mind, let us look at how a computer actually makes a medical decision. One of the most fundamental tasks in bioinformatics is biological classification, such as separating healthy cells from diseased cells. To do this, the computer calculates a score based on biological features, like the expression levels of specific genes. By mathematically combining these features, the model creates a baseline for prediction. This simple mathematical combination forms the brain of the predictive algorithm, allowing it to classify new, unseen biological samples with remarkable accuracy. To understand how this classification works, we need to look at the math behind the linear classifier. Conceptually, this formula takes various biological signals and weighs their importance to reach a single conclusion. In this equation, Z represents the final calculated raw score. The variables X represent the actual biological data inputs, such as the expression levels of specific genes. The variables W are the weights. If a specific gene is highly associated with a disease, the algorithm increases its weight. meaning an increase in that gene's expression will drastically increase the final score Z. Finally, B is the bias, which shifts the baseline threshold for the decision. Now that we have our formula, let us walk through a simple numerical example to see how this works in practice. Suppose our model is predicting if a tumor is malignant based on two genes. We are given the learned weights for gene A and gene B, along with the baseline bias. A new patient sample provides the expression levels for these two genes. We need to calculate the raw score for this tumor. We substitute the given values into our equation, multiplying each gene's expression level by its corresponding weight, and then adding the bias. The high expression of gene A, combined with its large positive weight, pushes the score up, resulting in a final raw score of 5.0. Because this is a positive number, the model is leaning heavily toward classifying this tumor as malignant. We have successfully calculated a raw score, but this brings us to an important clinical question. A raw score of 5 does not mean much to a medical professional on its own. Is 5 a little bit dangerous or extremely dangerous? Medical decisions require clear, understandable risk assessments rather than abstract mathematical scores. Therefore, we need a way to convert this raw score into a readable probability between 0 and 1. This conversion is the critical step that turns abstract math into an actionable clinical diagnosis that a doctor can actually use to treat a patient. To convert our raw score into a probability, we use a special mathematical tool called the sigmoid function. Conceptually, this function takes any number, no matter how large or small, and squishes it into a neat percentage between 0 and 1. In this formula, P of y equals 1 represents the probability that the biological sample belongs to the positive class, such as being a cancerous tumor. The constant E is Euler's number, and Z is our raw score. If the raw score Z increases and becomes a large positive number, the exponential term becomes very small, making the probability approach 1, or 100%. Conversely, a large negative score pushes the probability down towards 0. Now that we have the sigmoid formula, let us apply it to our patient's raw score of 5.0. We want to know the actual probability that this specific tumor is malignant. We substitute our score of 5.0 into the exponent of the formula. The exponential term evaluates to a very small number, approximately 0.0067. Because this term is so small, adding it to 1 in the denominator barely changes the value. We divide 1 by 1.0067, giving us a final probability of 0.993. This translates to a 99.3% chance of malignancy, telling the doctor with high confidence that the patient needs immediate treatment. Having calculated the math, let us visualize what the machine learning model is actually doing. Here we see a decision boundary diagram. The horizontal axis represents the expression level of gene A, and the vertical axis represents gene B. Notice the two distinct groups. The blue dots in the lower left represent healthy cells, while the red crosses in the upper right represent diseased cells. The solid diagonal line is the decision boundary, where our raw score Z equals 0. Any patient sample that falls above and to the right of this line receives a positive score, indicating a high probability of disease. This line is exactly what the algorithm learns to draw during its training phase. To wrap up our lecture, let us review the most important ideas we have covered. First, machine learning is the ultimate bridge between computer science and biology, allowing us to find hidden patterns in massive data sets that humans could never process manually. Second, we saw how linear classifiers use weights and biases to evaluate biological features, generating a predictive raw score. Third, we learned that the sigmoid function is essential for converting those abstract scores into clear, actionable clinical probabilities. You have now seen exactly how computational biology turns raw gene expression numbers into powerful, life-saving medical predictions. As we gather more data, these models will only become smarter and more accurate.